Shai Gilgeous-Alexander isn't just another NBA star. He's one of the most unique point guards the game has ever seen. At 6'6", with a massive 7-foot wingspan, lightning-quick first step, and a jumper smooth as silk, SGA is nearly unguardable. In the 2024 NBA season, he joined Michael Jordan as only the second player ever to average 30 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals, while shooting over 50% from the field. But here's the twist. Just like Jordan, Shai didn't always look like greatness. In fact, he was once cut from his high school varsity team. This is the story of a Canadian kid, underrated, overlooked, and doubted, who transformed himself from a 4-star recruit into one of the best players in the world. Born in Toronto to Vaughn Alexander and Shai Gilgeous, a former Olympic track star, Shai inherited his mother's athletic gifts and his father's passion for basketball. His dad became his first coach, teaching him fundamentals and taking him to Raptors games to watch Chris Bosh. Shai fell in love with the game early, spending hours shooting on a beat-up basket mounted above the family garage. When his family moved to Hamilton, Ontario, 10-year-old Shai joined the local program UPlay Canada. But he wasn't a prodigy. At 14, he didn't even make his varsity team. That rejection lit a fire. He started grinding with Dwayne Washington, UPlay's founder, who drilled him in pick-and-roll mastery. Hours of film study, hours of pace work, learning to count down in his head before attacking screens. It was the kind of detail that separated legends like James Harden and Chris Paul, and soon it started shaping SGA too. Shai's toughest competition, though, wasn't just at practice. It was his cousin, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, now with the Timberwolves. The two were the same age, and their one-on-one battles were so intense they almost came to blows. But that rivalry sharpened them both. By senior year, both cousins transferred to Hamilton Heights Christian Academy in Tennessee to face stronger competition. At first, Nickeil looked like the future NBA player. Shai was still a pass-first guard with a shaky jumper. But he worked relentlessly. He studied film. He rebuilt his shot. By the end of the season, Shai was averaging 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, good enough to earn a scholarship to Kentucky. Still, he was underrated. A 4-star recruit, not expected to start. Coach Calipari even joked his jumper looked like Charles Barkley's golf swing. Awkward and unreliable. But being doubted was nothing new for Shai.
It's a misconception, but I don't think people realize how good of a shooter I actually am. Not shooting them as much as a lot of guys in college. Kind of restricted that a little bit, but I look to proving that in the upcoming workouts.
Is that what you improved on the most, you think, before the time you got to Kentucky and before you left?
Definitely. I think I've become a more volume shooter. I'm more consistent with it. I still got a lot of work to do, obviously, and getting to a level that I really want to, but I think it's making good strides.
He bided his time, came off the bench for 15 games, and when his chance finally came to start, he never looked back. By mid-January, Shai was the team's leader. His mom even called Coach Cal after big games, telling him to keep her son grounded and push him harder. And it worked. In the SEC tournament final, SGA exploded for 29 points on 10 of 16 shooting, with 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Then in the NCAA tournament, he carried Kentucky past Davidson and Buffalo, averaging 23 and 6. But then came heartbreak. In the Sweet 16 against Kansas State, he went cold. Just 2 for 10 from the field. Kentucky lost. And just like that, his college career was over. Despite that bittersweet 16 loss, Shai's growth during his lone year at Kentucky was undeniable. He entered the season underrated and overlooked, but by the end, he was impossible to ignore. SGA finished the year averaging 14 points, 5 assists, and nearly 2 steals per game, while shooting an impressive 48% from the field and 40% from 3. The combination of his size, his explosive first step, and his defensive instincts made one thing clear. This wasn't just a solid college guard. This was a future NBA star in the making.
I had a great year here when I was here. Their front office made a trade that they thought was better for their team. So did the Thunder. And then the last 5 years, I've tried to focus on my development and the team's development. and try to be the best basketball player I could be for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I say it worked out in my favor.
But even after proving himself at Kentucky, nobody saw Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as a guaranteed star. In the loaded 2018 NBA draft, he was taken 11th overall by the Hornets, and then instantly traded to the Clippers for Miles Bridges and 2 future second-round picks. And just like in college, his NBA journey began on the bench. But it didn't stay that way for long. After just 9 games, Doc Rivers inserted him into the starting lineup, and Shai never looked back. As a rookie, he became a steady force, averaging 11 points on 47% shooting, dishing out 3 assists and making his mark as one of the most efficient mid-range shooters in the league, hitting nearly 48% from that area. When the playoffs arrived, Shai elevated his game even higher, averaging 14 points per game and knocking down 50% of his threes against the defending champion Warriors.
With the Clippers last year, you're on a team that nobody thought a lot of going into the season. Then they trade Tobias Harris at mid-year, and everybody thinks it's tank mode. You don't tank. You have a successful year, scare the Warriors in the playoffs. Any similarities to what you've seen here? Losing Westbrook, losing George, people don't have the Thunder very high. Is it the same kind of script that you can follow with surprising the league?
Yeah, I guess you can say so. But personally, I try not to worry about everything the league says or the media says in terms of things like tanking and stuff like that and expectations for us. I think if we just focus on ourselves, try to get better every day and play the best of our ability and as hard as we can, and it'll take us where it takes us.
But then, everything changed. One man with an unforgettable laugh shifted Shai's entire career path. Kawhi Leonard. Fresh off a Finals MVP, Kawhi wanted to return home to LA, and he wanted Paul George by his side. To land him, the Clippers gave up a historic package, and at the center of it was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Thunder were supposed to tank that year, stacking draft picks for the future. But under the leadership of Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander blossomed into something special, and suddenly OKC had one of the most dangerous backcourts in the NBA. Shai averaged 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. But the numbers only told part of the story. In the clutch, he was ice cold, shooting nearly 60% and leading the entire NBA in clutch steals. By the end of the season, he had a plus 106 in clutch minutes, the second best mark in the league. His jumper, once criticized as shaky, had transformed into a weapon. Scoring nearly a point per possession in isolations, he proved he could go one-on-one against anyone. That explosive first step, unstoppable. He'd blow past defenders, then slow it down, sidestep, or hit the perfect pass. Shai wasn't just growing, he was becoming feared. On January 13, 2020, he recorded his first triple-double, 20 points, 10 assists, and a jaw-dropping 20 rebounds against Minnesota. Only Russell Westbrook had ever posted a 20-20-10 game in the last 30 years, and Shai became the youngest player in NBA history to do it. The Thunder would eventually fall in the playoffs, losing a tough 7-game series to the Rockets, but Shai showed he belonged, averaging 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists on the big stage. Then came the rebuild. In the offseason, Chris Paul, Danilo Gallinari, and Dennis Schroeder were traded as OKC went all in on youth. Shai wasn't thrilled, but he trusted GM Sam Presti's vision. By his 3rd season, Shai was the clear leader of the Thunder, averaging 23 points, 5 boards, and 6 assists, shooting 51% from the field and 42% from deep. But after just 35 games, his season was cut short with a foot injury. Oddly enough, it wasn't a disaster for OKC. Shai was making them too competitive, winning more games than they wanted. With him sidelined, the Thunder secured the 6th pick in the draft, selecting Josh Giddey. Shai returned the next season, but injuries continued to nag him. He played 56 games, still putting up 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists per night. For the Thunder, it worked out. They landed the 2nd overall pick in the draft. The pieces for a new dynasty were slowly falling into place.
Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Mark said that he didn't feel like their strategy defensively on you changed much, but their execution, he felt like their force was more on point tonight. What did you see from them defensively, and what impact did that have on the turnovers, especially you had tonight?
Yeah, they were aggressive. They were higher in the pick and rolls. They really were just, like Coach said, more aggressive, more forceful. Yeah, we gotta, starts with me, but we gotta apply that pressure back. Especially if you want to beat a team like that on the road, you got to be the more forceful team for sure.
Last question, fourth row, middle.
John Hollinger from The Athletic. Yeah, 9 of 20 from the field tonight. Did you feel happy with the shots you got, or did you feel like you could get to better ones, or was it more just you got what you wanted and miss on it?
Yeah, I feel like I had some good looks tonight that I missed that I usually make. There's moments where I could have been a little bit more aggressive, I would say. But yeah, I'll watch film, clean everything up, and try to be better for this basketball team come next game.
The Thunder also added Jalen Williams with the 12th pick, and even though Chet Holmgren missed the entire season with injury, the growth of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the stellar two-way play of rookie Jalen Williams made one thing clear. Oklahoma City was on the rise. Sam Presti had built something special, and Shai was the engine driving it all. At the time of the Paul George trade, everyone thought the Clippers had won big. But just 3 years later, the player they gave up turned out to have a better season than both George and Kawhi Leonard. That's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Under coach Mark Daigneault, OKC embraced positionless basketball. Everyone could handle the ball, switch on defense, and push the pace. But the system worked because of Shai. His endless arms became weapons on defense. His transition game was lethal, and his handle, smooth, precise, unshakable, a metronome that controlled the rhythm of the game. Despite one of the highest usage rates in the league, he averaged under 3 turnovers per game. That's superstar control. By 2023, Shai had become a scoring machine. 31.4 points per game on 51% shooting. 90% from the free throw line, and first among guards in points in the paint. His mid-range was deadly, his shot fakes unstoppable, and his ability to draw fouls unmatched. He finished top 5 in MVP voting, made first-team All-NBA, and silenced every doubt that had ever been placed on his name. And he only got better. In 2024, with Chet Holmgren returning and Jalen Williams and Giddey developing, the Thunder shocked the league. They won 57 games, their best season in a decade, and finished as the #1 seed in the West. Their defense was relentless, their pace was unmatched, but when the game slowed down, when the team needed a bucket, there was only one answer: Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He scored 30-plus in 51 of the 75 games he played. He led the league in steals and free throws, ranked near the top in every advanced metric, and finished second in MVP voting, behind Nikola Jokic. In the playoffs, he carried OKC past the Pelicans, and even though they fell to Luka and the Mavericks in the second round, Shai was the best player in the series, averaging 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists on absurd efficiency. With Holmgren and Jalen Williams still developing, a mountain of draft picks and over $30 million, 0 cents in cap space, the Thunder's future is brighter than ever. And at the heart of it all is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a player destined not just for greatness, but for MVP glory. This has been NBA Net Kings. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out our other deep dives into the NBA's brightest stars.